Of course, it's well known that our people have different nusachs of prayer, different exact wordings, and Sidurim, the various prayer books, differ from each other. And throughout history, we had very old prayer books. Today, they've published, for instance, the Siddur of Rav Saadia Gaon, that would be more than 1,000 years ago. The Siddur of Amram Gaon. Many different rites existed. We know the Nusach of prayer of Rambam, the Maimonides. Today, the main Nusachs of prayer that exist are Sephardi Nusach of what's called mostly Edot Hamizrach. Today, most of the people what we call Sephardi are not really Spanish Jews. Very few of them come from Spain originally, but the vast majority of them come from what's called Eastern communities, Edot Hamizrach. That would be Iraqi Jews, Syrian Jews, Lebanese Jews, Jews from Egypt, basically the Middle Eastern Jews for the most part. Iranian Jews are also considered the Edot Hamizrach. Among the former Soviet Jews, that would be the Bukharian Jews and the mountain Jews, what's called Gorsky, Caucasian Jews. Those are all Edot Hamizrach. So that's one Nusach of prayer. And among Ashkenazi Jews that ended up in Europe, approximately 1,000 or more years ago, most of them ended up in what's called Ashkenaz, and that's how we call Germany, Ashkenaz. Really, original name for Germany in Jewish literature was not preserved. Ashkenaz is one of grandsons of Noach, great-grandsons, of Noach. Right? And the biblical Ashkenaz is the son of Gomer, who is the son of Japhet, who is the son of Noach. But it's not clear at all if that Ashkenaz has to do with Germany. But later on, when Jews ended up in Germany about 1,000 years ago or more, they started calling themselves Ashkenazi Jews. So, by the way, how did we end up in Germany? It seems like we came originally from the land of Israel to Italy, and from there already some communities moved to Germany, it seems, in the times of Charlemagne, right? Karo the Great, as they call it in Jewish literature. Whatever the case may be, among Ashkenazim there are two main Nusachayot. Again, there are many Nusach. The rites of prayer differ quite a bit, but we're talking about the main ones. So one is the Hasidic Nusach, that they call Nusach Sfard, but it's not really Sfard, it's more like based on Arizal. In fact, Chabad Hasidim call it Nusach Arizal. And the regular Nusach Ashkenaz. But what I wanted to discuss here is a very interesting point. It's known that the differences between various rites of prayer are very minor. And there are even some rabbis who say that if you come to a synagogue where they pray with a certain Nusach, you should pray with them according to their Nusach if you can. At the very least, it's not totally wrong to pray with a different nusach when for instance, if a person doesn't have a different siddur, he might come to a synagogue which doesn't have any sidurim machzorim for his nusach. So there, all the differences are all minor. But I wanted to point out that there is one major difference, which actually is a halachic psak. It's a real difference, and one lechoira, if he is Ashkenazi, would not be allowed to pray with Sephardi Nusach, because it's a really halachic question how to pronounce and what to say. And that is the Mussaf of Yom Tov. We just had the Yom Tovim of Pesach, and soon will be Shavuot in less than 2 months. So if a person, let's say, ends up in a Sephardi synagogue, a Edot Hamizrach synagogue, the Sephardim paskin that during the Mussaf you do not actually mention the actual karbanot that were brought in the temple. You just say in general words. We'll do whatever is written in the Torah when the temple is rebuilt. But the Ashkenazic Nusach, based on the opinion of Rabbeinu Tam, is that you have to mention specific karbanot. And that's a real halachic difference. And we paskin like Rabbeinu Tam. So therefore it would seem reasonable that Ashkenazi Jews have to mention it and cannot just pray the Mussaf of Yom Tov according to Sephardi rite. And if they don't have any other siddur, then they have to take those words from, for instance, Machzer of Pesach, for example, would bring first the reading of the Torah before the Tefillah of Mussaf. So you could take those words from the Maftir whatever were the korbanot of Pesach, and say it during Shmona Esrei. That's all what I wanted to say on this short video. And if you like this video, please press like.